Hi guys, this is SDJR7F88 speaking. We're a review of a very interesting model. Now, as you know, in my last update on Compton Martin, I mentioned there would be the first ever review on Compton Martin, and this is it. Also, I mentioned that the review is of a new locomotive which is going to act as a shunter on the layout. So many of you were, some of you were quite inquisitive about what this loco would be, and put stuff like ideas of what it could have been, like J94 tank, a pug, but none of you actually got what this engine is. And as you can see from the title of this video, which is a big giveaway, is something not which is not a UK outlined model. And as you probably guessed from the title, like I just said, it is a Jouef 030, that's how they pronounce it in France. I think it's a French engine, or as we know it, an 060 tank engine. Now, this is a very smart model. I picked it up from Signals. I had it specially ordered in. As you can see, it was £42.50, which is actually very cheap for this model. Normally these retail at about £49, well, yeah, it's a really good value model. Now, it's a junior line model, which is basically Jouef's version, which is also, as you can see on the back, owned by Hornby, which is basically the French version, or whatever countries these are sold in Europe. Well, basically Europe's version of our railroad range. And I must say, these models actually do put our railroad range to shame. I mean, literally. Now, this is a very small tank engine. If I open up the box, gotta be careful with doing these boxes. It's a bit like the old Hornby style box, but see it's got like a shelf hanger thing on the background. And get it out. Put the box there. And the model comes with two sets of instructions. Oh, again, sorry about the light. There's one set. Because as some of you know, in the West Country area, there was a major storm last night. One of the weirdest lightning storms I've ever seen. About 3 o'clock in the morning, and it's still very overcast. So, yeah, that's why it's a bit dark in here, but I hope you could see all this. Anyway, two sets of instructions. I know most of you don't like looking at instructions. This one is basically just, the do's and don'ts of the model. And this here is the actual instruction manual itself about how to take the locomotive apart. Now, I am going to briefly show you the instruction manual for one key thing. Obviously, this comes with French couplings, this loco. So one of the things you want to do is take it apart and replace it. Luckily, it has NEM pockets, so you can fit a NEM pocket coupling, as you can see down here. But there is one problem. To get to it, you have to take the engine apart, and you see there are 4 sets of screws on the bottom. There, and there. Now, obviously, I followed these instructions to take the engine apart. The body's quite easy to remove. You know what I mean? To replace these couplings. The only thing is, the screws listed on here are in the wrong holes. So it says here to remove the main body, you have to remove the 2 inner screws. When in reality, on the real model, judging by when I did it, you have to remove the 2 end screws to remove the body. They've accidentally moulded up the screws on the instructions. So, but yeah, that's it. And then also you got all the little spare parts and stuff. But that's the main little thing about the instructions. Anyway, it's a standard foam polystyrene box. You open it up, a little window, and there is the model. Now, there have been a few reviews of these online. John Meller, sorry if I pronounced your name wrong, has done a review of one. Well, he's done a review of 2. He's done a review, sorry, not the tripod, the Electrotran Tren 1, which is in a British outlined liveried one, which they On Tracks did, but it was also available in a number of other shops, which actually did come with pre-fitted UK couplings, and it was in a National Coal Board livery. It was based on I've forgotten the name of the type of locomotive, but yeah, it was loosely based because of its outline shape. But yeah, this one is a French livery, and I mean, just look at this stunning livery. Normally the rest of them, European ones, are like black. There's a green one which is also quite nice looking. But then they announced this beautiful orange and yellow black line livery, and I thought that just screams out industrial shunter. And I mean, what a quirky little loco it is, especially in that livery. Now, one of the main things which makes this model very, very interesting, especially considering it's actually like a railroad version, you know, the European railroad version, is look at the linkage on that. That linkage, I mean, if you look at Hornby's tank engines, they have just the rod going straight to the cylinder and it wobbles about like on Smokey Joe and stuff. I mean, that's not very realistic. It should really have something like that on there, but look. And the amazing thing about this model is actually smaller than Smokey Joe. Now, I haven't got a comparison at the moment, but I do have a Hornby pug. By pug, I mean not a Hornby Smokey Joe type pug, you know, railroad range pug. It's actually the proper Hornby pug, LMS pug. And let's just say this engine is the same size. It is literally the same size as the pug. Just a tiny, tiny microscopic bit longer. Miles smaller than Smokey Joe, and yet they still managed to get a beautiful linkage on there. Now, I'm going to quickly turn off the camera a moment. And I'm going to get out the box, as it is kind of fiddly and I don't want to waste time trying to get out of the box. But anyway, I'll pause it here and then we'll have her set up on the layout. Anyway, here she is on the track, and doesn't she look stunning? What an amazing little model. I mean, for a little, you know, like I said, like a railroad model, or junior line as they call it in in Europe, it is a very, very detailed model. I mean, look at the rivets and on the top of the tank. You got to remember, this is about the same size as a Hornby pug. And the amazing thing about that is the Hornby pug's cab is full of the motor. Look at that. It's actually got full cab detail. And there's plenty of room to put a crew in there, which I plan to do. Now, obviously it is a European engine, so there are a few things which on the outside of the engine which sort of give it away. The first is the buffer beam. Luckily, there's nothing which really gives it away that it's French, apart from the fact that it says 030. Now, that doesn't matter, I'm not going to get rid of that. I think it looks really, really good. Adds to the front detail of the buffer. Now, I'm not sure if the camera could pick this up, but that is actually glossy. The buffers are actually painted like a gloss red. Same on the back, as you can see. Another thing which shows that it's European is the windows on the back. Now, I'm not sure what to do here, but I'm planning on slightly modifying the engine, but I'm having second thoughts about this. The centre window, John Mellor, you know, did like a video on how to modify these for British outline use, and he filled in the centre window with a door, like a Great Western style door which you find on the back of the cabs. I'm thinking of doing that. I'm not sure though, as you know, I was so surprised because when I was looking at it on the internet I was thinking, yeah, I'm going to modify that, I'm going to chop that off, I'm going to do that, but the thing is, you know, I just got out of the box and I've instantly fallen in love and I don't really want to you know, chop it about, if you know what I mean. But I'm definitely going to add a crew because that will really, really look good. And then there's the sandbox on top. I'm not going to modify that. I think it looks quite good on there. But the one thing I am going to modify is this little number plate there. And as you can see, for such a fine, small model, hopefully if it'll focus. Go on. Yeah, focus. Still not focusing. Thought we'd have a focusing problem at some point. Anyway, zoom out. Focus and then zoom back in again. There we go. We have like a French number plate of some sort. I'm not gonna say that because my French is atrocious. But anyway, there's also some sort of like little numbers under it, which are actually legible, which is actually amazing. Considering it's such a small engine, as I've mentioned before. But I'm going to replace that with a nameplate for the engine. Like you, because obviously industrial engines were named. So this engine is going to have the quirky name of Flash. There are a number of reasons why I want to call it Flash, and I'm not going to go into them, but she's going to be called Flash. Anyway, now on to the main part of the engine, which, you know, which makes it so advertising for British outline modelers, is that linkage. I mean, you just cannot get that linkage on any model of this size in the UK. The only one which has come close is the Batman Junior GWR saddle tank 040, but that is very, well, although it is a nice looking linkage, it is quite crude in a sense that it's you know, very chunky and thick. But look, this is so fine, and considering this is a junior model, I keep on referring to it as a junior model because it is, but you're thinking they've gone into so much detail for such a small model. Well, yeah, our engines are quite crude in a sense for our cheap base outline. Look, I mean, you've got a fine little whistle on top, so you've got to be careful with that if it goes into focus. Go on, focus. Yes, I'm looking at the model, not the cobbles. There we go. And then there's that rivet detail again. There's the safety valve, because you've got to be quite careful with that whistle. And then you've got the front of the engine. All the rivets around the smoke box door. But there is two little criticisms I do have of the engine. Now, the first thing is, you know, a common fault for all small engines. Due to its very, very, very short wheelbase, it does have problems on points sometimes. On like a electro, you know, isolating points, which obviously Compton Martin has all of them, except for one, which will be the one going into the Loco yard. Yeah, for obvious reasons that the controller can't get electricity in there, so I'm going to have to put two little clips in there to make that electrified, then hence the isolating switch there. But yeah, she does sometimes stop on them. But yeah, that's no big problem. You know, if she very rarely does it, she might do it in the running video. I don't know. But then again, she's only I've only had her running a bit, and the thing is, because the main layout's been too hot, although it's cooled down now, I haven't had time to properly run her in yet. So she's just been going back and forth on Compton Martin. Whoops, not the camera. And obviously that, you know, that's not really good enough. She needs to run around laps for a couple of minutes, sort of thing, to get her really thoroughly warmed in. And the second problem is the couplings themselves. They are very, very fiddly to fit. I took it apart, like I said. I took the actual pocket out, which is on the inside. It has like these little flanges or like springs on the side, plastic things, to stop it from, you know, keeping it straight, and you know, so it just wobbles around a little bit, so it could go around corners, sort of thing. The thing was, when I pulled the pockets out, the French ones, basically, they wouldn't come out because they swelled up in the factory. They were quite blobby at the back. So I decided to put a little carving knife, special scalpel, and remove the little clips on the back. So I cut the clips off and then pull the coupling straight out. The sad thing, what happened here, due to my oafish, pronounce. Basically, because I'm a klutz, I accidentally cut these little flanges off. So now the coupling swings about like mad, and sometimes when it couples up to a train, it goes off to the side. This is no problem though, as I have found a site which does spares, and I have ordered them in. I do not know how long these spares will arrive, because luckily they're on the instruction manual, so I found the number, typed it in, got a website, and they said not in stock at the moment, but due in 14 days, which means it could be it could be forever basically. But I have ordered some in. They were 70p, 77p, but then you have to pay like something stupid like £3 postage. But that doesn't matter, as long as the engine, you know, I got the engine for a really, really good price, and obviously, you know, and it sorts this problem out and it fixes that. So hopefully, when the new pockets arrive, I'll replace them with the brand new pockets, and they won't swivel about like mad. Anyway, let's get on to the running part of the video. I'll just show her doing a few, like stretching her legs or wheels, whatever, along Compton Martin, doing a few little shuttles. I'm gonna have to ask my brother to hold the camera for a bit. Due to me controlling the engine, controlling the engine from in there, and he'll be doing the filming. Hopefully he'll be on his best behaviour for that, and yeah, and then there'll be a proper running video with her with stock coming soon, which I'll explain at the end. Anyway, bye for now, and let's see the her running. Right, my brother's on the camcorder now, and let's get going. Now she's on the cobbles, and hopefully she'll move away slowly. There we go. I mean, just look at the linkage on that. I mean, you cannot get that on a British model. She's a very, very slow runner. She's a bit juddery. Like I said, she hasn't had a run in yet. And also, it's the fact that I'm running it on a cheap, bog standard Hornby train set controller. Right, she's just gone into the fiddle yard. We'll just switch the points. She'll come back out and go in through the station. You see, she did slow on the points a bit there. She will definitely stop on this pair of points. I don't know what it is. I think this pair of points needs a clean. See what I mean? But like I said, it's just that one pair of points she definitely stops on. But like I said, she is a very, very slow runner. I can get her to do a really, really slow crawl, even on this controller. Hopefully, if it's a bit slower. Not the slowest of crawls, but speed her up over the point so she doesn't stop again. But, yeah, hopefully now. Like I said, it's a really cheap controller I'm using, so there's no real slow speed option. But as you can see, she can go really slow, bit juddery. Like I said, running in controller, all that stuff. Oh, best wishes pair of points, and that one. But no, on the whole, she's a very good model. A few things I forgot to mention about her. She also is DCC ready. She has a DCC socket in her, so you can easily fit her with a chip of some sort. I'm not sure what pin, because I don't use DCC. That would definitely improve the smooth running, because DCC is always smoother, as they say. But no, obviously there's plenty of room in there. She's got a full metal weight in there. Literally the whole of that body is filled with weight, unlike Hornby models as well. So she's very heavy for her size. Another thing, you can see the couplers is swung out a bit. That's because, like I said about the couplers earlier. What's another thing that I forgot to mention? Yeah, she has a full, a 5-pole screw wound drive motor. So she is quite powerful. Although, because she's such a small engine, she does slip with heavy loads. But yeah, that's all for this little running clip. I hope you've got a nice look at the linkage on her running. But now there'll be a running video coming soon. I won't be able to film it today, but hopefully when it's a bit lighter, she will feature in 2 service videos. There's going to be a joint service between 3 YouTubers, me being one. The second being Brazil 2044, and the third one being Matthew Snowden again. And basically what's going to happen is this engine here is going to arrive with Brazil 2044's train after rescuing it, after it had an accident at a level crossing on his layout. So it rescued the train, bring it to Compton Martin. It will then do a bit of shunting with that train. The 04 shunter, which you saw in the last service, will come out the siding and collect a carriage which will come in on a pannier tank and then go back to Matthew Snowden's layout before this engine then again picks up Brazil 2044's weathered wagon and take it to his layout. So it's quite a confusing service, but I'm sure you'll understand when when it's all up and running. Anyway, let's get a quick shot of her going off to Brazil 2044's layout to go and collect his service. Oh, and also I'll have all the buildings on the layout and all the all the buildings and all the trees on the layout to make it look a bit better. So anyway, this has been SDJR788 speaking, and thanks for watching.